Set your ovens to hot and get ready for some man aerobics because we have the most insane episode of 1984 yet. A lot of our theories have come true, so I'm here to break it all down and what it could mean for episodes to come. You'll want to stick around to the very end to see how this season could link to Apocalypse. Now let's get into it. Episode 4, True Killers, starts sometime in the near past where Montana has a quick pick-me-up before starting her class. We're at the Perfect 10 aerobic studio, the same one we saw in episode 1. A not creepy at all Ricki Ramirez watches from the window and he either really likes men doing aerobics or something else has drawn him in. When he enters, it's almost as if a combination of the music and Satan have led him to Montana, who's quick to notice his knife. Ricki is training as well, just not his cardio. Montana steps into the locker alone, cause you know it's man aerobics and she's the only woman there, only to find the gutted corpse of the Cyndi Lauper fan. And instead of screaming and running the hell away, she's kinda turned on by it.
That's so hot.
Notice how he's strung up by these cords, the same that can be found on Ricki's belt here. And Ricki goes to town on her feet.
Can I see your feet?
They engage in some post-coital pillow talk, which includes arranging the murder of Brooke. And yes, as I predicted in my last video, Montana is the brother of Sam, the best man at Brooke's ill-fated wedding. She believes Brooke lied about hooking up with Sam the night before the wedding, an event which caused Joseph to kill him.
Why does she get to live when he's gone?
Now she's hell-bent on revenge, and Ricki is the one to do her bidding. Back in the present, Montana chastises Ricki for not killing Brooke. Remember, he's had 2 opportunities to do it, and she's gotten away each time. She tells him that they have to do it fast since Jingles is around, and then they'll make their escape. Trevor and Xavier have somehow managed to get Chet out of that pit of spikes and made their way back to the infirmary.
You're gonna be okay. Yeah. Trevor knows what he's doing.
Nope, no he doesn't. After he passes out, they decide to hit him with some adrenaline, which apparently is some really good shit. He tells them that Ray killed someone in college, and Xavier is like,
I thought making porn was bad.
Which reminds him that Blake's Cadillac, that porn producer we met in episode 2, is still somewhere nearby. If they can get Margaret and Bertie and make their way back to the car, they have a way out. So Trevor and Xavier decide to split up and look for them, leaving Chet all alone. What could go wrong? And I love how they just give Chet a pair of scissors. Like, thanks guys. Margaret finds the dead pranksters from last episode, which really can't be good news considering campers are expected tomorrow morning. Trevor tries to get her to leave, but she's gone full crazy and says everything's gonna be okay because she has a gun. The same gun we saw at the beginning of episode 2. Now when she touches the blood on the body here, she gets a quick flashback. Is it from her surviving the massacre or having done the massacre? We'll get to that in a bit. Xavier heads over to the mess hall, and bonus points if you picked up that AHS alum Stevie Nicks is playing on the radio. Bertie is there making sandwiches in the dark, because, you know, that's what you do, when Jingles comes in. Xavier hides under the bench, and we learn a little more about Margaret here. Bertie called her a, quote, weird kid, and says that she lives in the past and wants to be here for Margaret to help her turn the page with Camp Redwood's revival. Xavier is a total ding-dong and drops his flashlight, alerting Jingles to his presence. Bertie tries to save him, but both are knocked out. And of course it would be great if Xavier revealed himself as Michael Langdon now so he could survive the heat. Brooke wakes up in some sort of shed after she was drugged last episode by Nurse Rita, or should I say psychologist Donna Chambers. Remember that Rita and Jingles are working together, and that she was instrumental in his escape. Now Brooke is able to get out of this shed pretty easy, but it doesn't take long for her to spring one of those forest traps. Last episode I predicted that it was Rita who set these up since she would have had time, unlike Jingles, to prepare the grounds for their upcoming arrival. In episode 2, when Jingles visits her, she would have likely told him where all the traps are, so he could both avoid them himself and capture more victims. Rita spills the beans and tells Brooke her entire plan and uses Brooke as bait for Jingles.
I'm a scientist. You're my lab rat.
Will Jingles kill indiscriminately, or does he need the thrill of the hunt? Last episode, we saw him leave the chubby prankster when he could have easily killed him, so his motives to kill are still unknown. And rest in peace Xavier's beautiful porn career. I swear if we have to watch Cody Fern with blisters in his face for the next 6 episodes, I'm not gonna be impressed.
My face!
With her dying strength, Bertie helps Xavier out of the oven, and in an act of mercy, Xavier puts her out of her misery.
Chef Bertie is good people.
And great great, his fingerprints are gonna be all over that knife. Montana is oot and aboot, yes I'm Canadian, looking for Brooke when she finds her in the trap. Brooke tells her all about Rita, I mean Donna, when Montana says to hang tight while she gets her something sharp to cut her down. Ricki. Margaret checks her gun when we're given this absolutely insane flashback of her and Jingles from 1970. Notice the 3 counselors here who make fun of her, who are the same counselors from the episode 1 massacre. She's given a bear carving by Jingles as a symbol of strength, and she goes on to say this weird fact that bears mate for life, and oh god, what are you doing? Please no.
Are you my bear, Benji?
I'd do anything to protect you.
Ricki makes a pentagram seeking guidance from the master, Satan, when Montana directs him where to find Brooke. Jingles arrives before Ricki can touch Brooke, and it seems as though he might have a thing for saving defenseless women. But the most intriguing thing about this scene is what Ricki says about the camp, saying that the blood spilled in this place is eternal, and no matter which way you slice it, Mr. Jingles lives forever. He's alluding to immortality, and with his death to Jingles here, and the fact we've seen characters like the hitchhiker come back to life, it's no wonder he comes back at the end of the episode. During the scuffle, Rita and Montana fight, and Brooke manages to get away. Margaret's here, praying for Cody Fern to get his burns healed, when she's confronted by Jingles, and we finally get confirmation that she was the murderer all along. We get this flashback of Jingles being arrested, and his Vietnam ammo canister filled with severed ears that were planted by Margaret. Here in Jingles' cabin, we can see her plant the ears, which also includes her own. This bitch took off her own damn ear. Also, little thing, Jingles also carved a cute bunny. Aww. Margaret proceeds to tell him the truth about what happened all those years ago. The amount of drugs and electroshock therapy he went through made him forget. He had promised to protect her from the bullies but did nothing, so she took matters into her own hands, literally by killing everyone, making Jingles take the fall. Enraged by this revelation, Jingles goes to kill Margaret but is shot by him. Remember what Ricki said, Jingles is eternal. Brooke, Trevor, and Chet meet up having heard the gunshots, and for a guy who's almost been killed a bunch, he makes sure to tell Montana, who just rolled around in the dirt fighting Rita, how gorgeous she is. What's going on, ladies? You are really manipulating men this season. Although my favorite part of this scene is when Trevor tells Montana to take Chet, and this bitch rolls her eyes! Anyways, Trevor's off to look for Margaret, and oh no, this can't go over well.
You actually killed him.
Trevor sees that she's killed Jingles, but it's too late.
Right after he killed you.
What?
Margaret stabs Trevor, having gone full psychopath.
God has given me the strength to accept my true self.
She takes off his ear, once again to make it look like it was Jingles all along. And speaking of which, he's disappeared. As if Xavier's night couldn't get any worse, he stumbles into Jingles and his weak ass tries to stab him. But we get this line from Jingles.
It was never me.
Which could mean two things. Either he's still processing the revelation that he wasn't the killer, or that it was actually Margaret who stabbed Birdie to death and threw Xavier in the oven when they were both unconscious. I'll leave that one up for you guys to decide. Brooke rushes in and Jingles has once again mysteriously disappeared, almost like he has some sort of teleportation power.
2 guys. At the same time, is he a ninja?
They see an explosion off in the distance, which we find is their only means of escape, Blake's Cadillac. This is gonna be really tough to clean up before the kids arrive. Margaret tells them that Jingles attacked her and Trevor died in the process, leaving the rest to process how they're gonna get out of this mess. And now we have the coolest WTF moment of the episode, the resurrection of Ricki Ramirez. Rita awakens from getting clobbered in the head to find Ricki levitating in the air and his wounds magically healing. I don't know about you guys, but I got some Exorcist vibes here. He looks as though he's possessed, you can hear whispers of people saying Satan, and that combined with the levitation. But more interesting are his black eyes. Now, where did I see that again? I think this is huge proof that we're going to see a bigger connection between this season and Apocalypse. And if there's a connection to Apocalypse, there's probably a connection to Coven. Now, it's a bit too early to say what exactly this connection is, whether they are somehow related or simply guided by Satan, but it sure would have been handy for Papa Satan to resurrect his own son last season. As with many AHS seasons, a lot of it comes down to taste, but this one is shaping up to be one of my favorites. Let's hope Ryan Murphy and the team can keep it up. Make sure to like and subscribe with the bell on because I'll be coming out with more AHS videos, and leave a comment about what you think about the season below, or send me theories on Twitter @ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.